Back on the dizzy dummy now. God's Gift uncharacteristically quiet there, and Big Jack's turned a nasty shade of green.
Jack looks like the Incredible Hulk.
We're way ahead of you on that one, buddy boy.
Meantime, get ready for the barrel spills. The Hulk and the Water Boy now jostling for position. But the Hulk veers off and into the drink. The Water Boy next on the barrels.
And it looks to me as though we actually may be breakdancing into the water.
The Samurai with a double play onto that second barrel.
And the Cougar now with all the grace of an intoxicated baboon right on his tail.
Come on, boys, both jump at once, headbutt!
God's Gift onto the barrels at last, but looking like his best days are behind him.
Jump onto the platform and knock him off!
Right, like anyone's going to take advice from someone who calls themselves Pony Boy.
God's Gift in hot pursuit now.
Hot indeed. Lucky barrels.
Looking good, Kelly.
The Samurai with so much time up his sleeve, he's flirting with our co-host.
The Samurai Andrew Leese out in front and headed for the Wipeout zone.
But look out for that fierce competition, just sitting there watching him.
Come on!
We have one happy ancient warrior right there.
Wow, to add insult to injury, he's stealing God's Gift's lines.
You know it!
Speaking of God's Gift, he's really not tracking too well at the moment.
Well, what we may be seeing here, James, is God's Gift experiencing rejection for the very first time in his life. He's offered the barrels everything he has, and they've slammed the door in his face. It's tragic.
But I'm pushing on!
Okay, God's Gift showing real guts and determination as he decides to stay in the game.
I have a feeling his three competitors are a little worried they may end up wearing some of that guts and determination.
Seems like they're all making it through unscathed and are once again headed for the dreaded slippery snakes.
Except for God's Gift, and it's to see a man about a buck.
The Water Boy out first with a spectacular face plant.
But look out, here comes the Hulk, and he is not fighting fair, walking all over Water Boy. God's Gift up again, but he cops another knockback.
Forget it! The Hulk, Jack Anslow, is now the third man destined for the Wipeout zone. Back at the platform, and God's Gift has been forced to pull out of the competition. Struck down with a serious case of dummy tummy.
Well, it seems God giveth Adam and taketh Adam away. James, I'm sure you'll agree this is terrible. Terrible news. Excuse me.
Josh, come on, mate. Remember the good times.
He beat the big balls. He touched our hearts with his love of self and love of others.
Mate, you suck!
But now, Wipeout fans, it's time to say a fond farewell to God's Gift, Adam Marshall. Good night, sweet prince.
Which means it's a duel for the final position in the Wipeout zone between Jeff Cougar Coombs and Waterboy John Wright. And they will battle it out over the barrel spills, which have not been kind to anyone today.
Look, James, I'm all for enjoying the many delights of the Dizzy Dummy, but the Pony Boy is delirious right now. He is finding this battle positively snort-worthy.
A big showdown about to begin, and they're off!
The Cougar smiling, believe it or not, but the Waterboy seems just a little steadier right now.
They're up onto the barrels, and the Cougar's fallen off!
Oh, and he's off! Come on, Johnny, you've got it in the bag, man, careful!
I think the Pony Boy's after your job, Josh.
Swap it for those pants.
Here comes the Cougar. And the Waterboy makes the big leap. Oh, come on, Cougar.
He seems to have lost every ounce of pounce.
Well, it's all academic now as the Waterboy John Wright moves through to the Wipeout zone.
Take that!
Also through the Hulk Jack Anslow, the Samurai Andrew Leese, and the Pony Boy Jared Greenfield. And those four men will now face off in our ultimate challenge, fighting it out for 20 grand in the Wipeout zone.
Don't go anywhere. We're going to crown our first Wipeout Australia champion right after this break.
Welcome back to the premiere of Wipeout Australia.
And this is what it's all about. 4 contestants all vying for our $20,000 grand prize.
But to become our first champion, they'll have to overcome each other and the Wipeout zone. Firstly, our contestants launch off that big slide we call Killer Surf, bursting through dozens of balls at the bottom. Once they're out of the water, it's an uphill battle to get past these rolling barrels.
That's the barrel run, right?
Correct.
Then it's a slippery walk across the water wall over to the dreaded spinner. It's their job to land on the rotating carousel and hold on and then make the landing on the other side.
Then it's a deft walk across the rolling log and a series of leaps over the launch pads to our finish position. 4 contestants fighting for the prize. First up, it's Samurai Andrew Leese. He's with Kelly right now.
What's your strategy going into the wipeout zone?
I just go hard or go home. There's no stopping this bad boy. I'm standing on that podium. Ichiban.
The Samurai posted a lightning qualifier time before giving us Wipeout of the day on the sweeper and making the dizzy dummy his own.
I'm going to take it home!
A star all day long, the Samurai after the 20 grand now and an impressive entrance into the killer surf.
Certainly worth another look, James, as the Samurai is thrown in headlong.
Now it's a bolt up the barrel run and the Samurai's at full throttle.
Ooh. James, I understand there's a Samurai code, but does he really have to bow to the barrels?
Josh, this obstacle is no picnic. He has to traverse his way across that tiny ledge as water buckets down on him from a great height.
Technique and fierce determination getting the Samurai nearer to his destination in good time.
All right, that brings him to the spinner.
This is the tricky part right now.
The Samurai leaps, and bango! He's straight into the water. That'll cost the Samurai big time as he faces a long swim back up to the ledge for his second attempt.
Jim, maybe the ancient shoguns should have used giant spinners to protect their castles.
All right, next try for the Samurai.
There's a look of fear and panic on his face at the moment.
And... oh! So close, he almost got there. The Samurai now on the spinner again. He has to stick this landing to post a competitive time.
And at last, he's made it.
The Samurai with the spinner behind him must cross the rolling log to be on the home stretch.
Steadies himself. The Samurai scampers across, and he falls like a cherry blossom.
The Samurai Andrew Leese. Across the rolling log. Yes!
He hangs on, but gets cracked like a fortune cookie. Better watch out, James, or he'll be the last Samurai.
Right now, he's just 2 launch pads away from the finish. Here he comes. And... an incredible wipeout! Back up. He jumps again and claws his way up to the second launch pad. And at last, the Samurai Andrew Leese makes it to the finish. His time 13 minutes and 57 seconds.